The night at Funimation. Me, Robert, and Livingstone. Special host for this video will be the ghost of Auntie Lisa. This is a very, very, very tragic story because he doesn't understand. I used to watch a movie with my family that was in black and white called Boys Town. And so what happened is I got reunited with my friend Robert and Lily. Robert, who I call on the channel Arturo. And what happened was this. I have a Michael Jackson persona to me because of what society put me through, the corner society put me through, and Lily, how people really tried to say that I had a pure pan way of living when they really just wanted me to be a gang member. It really was a very brutal way of growing up because Lily, whatever I thought was cool was the opposite, only because gangsters roll off reverse psychology. But what happens when two people who grow up with technology view gangsters on the outside and know that they're dumb, but know that they can't win unless they join their side? Me and Robert have been through that experience. We know that we can't be dumb enough to fuck up our criminal record, but we know we can't be square enough to not act good to fit in. And that's the biggest balance, and you must get that balance. You must really learn how to play their game and master it like Lily. And that's the key to life. And what I mean to that is, Lily, this video is going to really haunt you if you are a fan of my channel, because this is a very scary thing of Lily, what's been going on. So the reason why Auntie Lisa is hosting this video is because of the agriculture that revolves around the province Neverland. You see, for the Funimation training for the non-anime, what's going on is this: we are breaking down each and every Easter egg of our cartoon politically in order to understand the reference, in order for us to become better writers, so we can literally participate in more things, not just nons. And literally what's going on is we're training Funimation's voice actors to be jack of all trades just like me, to teach them how to Lily view things a certain way like me, like Lily, how I've been trying to tell you through the Platinum Boys. Lily, we've been working with several, and Lily, we really got reunited legit recently. So what happened last night is I recently showed Robert the Province Neverland, and that was his anime that was word of mouth, and it was crazy as fuck because I wasn't even thinking I was ever gonna see Robert again because of the way he was living life. And this heavily ties into Lily why this is really strong, because him and my family all stare the same thing. You're thinking what I'm thinking, and Auntie Lisa is notorious for that. But it's really even worse than that, because my grandma Lily did this and that every time Robert came over. Every time Lily, I'm struggling at school, Lily thought about how funny Robert was, and she knew that me and him were competing and stuff like that. She knew also we were competing at age, it didn't matter. And she really, I don't know what was traumatizing my grandma at the time, knowing that I have a drill friend. Like, she's like, your friend is better than any other friend on the street, because I know how friends work. You and your friend actually do shit together, because me and Robert played Storm, me and Robert Lily both like Amy, and Lily, the only thing that separated us was this damn hood shit. And Lily, we both grew up on the computer playing Cartoon Network games and shit. Lily, we both grew up at home. I come over, Lily, I cook a fucking burrito for we be having moments literally while I be trying to flex because I was trying too hard to fit into school. Like, my food in my house is better than yours and shit like that. Like, literally fucking, I'm like, yo. So one time we get high and literally fucking, I give him some fucking snacks and shit. And literally fucking, I'm like, see, my house got the snacks. And he's all like, what? I have the same fucking pack of Kool-Aid at my house, same flavor. And fucking shit like that. It's hella funny. So one time literally he got high. He's like, bro, I'm hungry. So literally I go downstairs, I make a waffle and shit, and I have no time to fucking butter or put shrimp on it or any fucking thing, and I just give it to Robert and shit. And so Robert fucking eats it, and he gets hella mad, and he waits like at least fucking 3 minutes after we're done playing the game. He's like, that waffle is hella good. It horrified my grandma, because my grandma knows about the world that we live in currently. The world that we live in high school revolves around pussy. But me and Robert have so many intellectual conversations, so much this and that, not just talking about politics, talking about shit in general, because I'm not afraid to talk about other topics that other kids aren't in order to fit in. Is why me and Robert were literally the chronic best friends, literally. And my grandma literally, because there was one time where Robert moved back to Alabama to go see his mom, and literally my grandma was like, I was crying and stuff like that. My grandma was like, I like Robert, that was your friend. No, seriously, it was crazy as fuck. He was so relatable, it wasn't even funny. He would come over to my house, literally freaking, we would just get high, and then my uncle would ask me literally to do a fucking small page. You were like, hey, wipe off the table real quick. I'm like, Sonny, I'm too busy looking at unicorns and stuff like that. And then Uncle Jay literally started running around in a fucking circle pretending that he was high. He's like, oh, that was a good one. He's like, I haven't heard that one ever since I was smoking. I done acid, Angel does all that, but that's definitely something new. So me and Robert are hella high laughing at my uncle Lily fucking after like a crackhead Lily fucking he's like, oh, it's hella fucking funny because he's trying to deny that shit was he's trying to deny that was a good punchline, so he starts walking around and smoking pretending like he's high and shit, and me and Robert start dying. So all of a sudden my uncle Lee's like, yeah, that's right, you're fucking that, so fucking things come down, and Robert's all like, okay, well, Sonny's a dog. In your language, oh, okay, Sonny's a crackhead. But in all seriousness, this is where the video begins. This is a very serious video. All jokes aside, it's because of that relatability is why this video is so impactful. Because literally, being separated from my family, literally this, that, literally understanding literally the nature, this is something like a non-American house is doing. Imagine you're trying to fit in the school, literally fucking your friend literally is a white guy who just started listening to like heavy rap and stuff, got to go to some parties and stuff like that you can't go to because literally of your social standing and shit, and then you come home to your uncle who's fucking crazy as fuck literally, and he's sitting over here dealing with the reverse psychology in school, where he comes home to you and sees the most realistic shit where he's yelling at you trying to do a chore. It's because we grew up on those morals is why literally Auntie Lisa would be breaking down what happened to Livingstone that night. This video is all about how Livingstone fucked up in life, how God gives you multiple chances, and how multiple people literally are responsible literally for themselves, for literally dealing with survival. People are naturally like literally responsible by dealing with survival, and Robert was one of those people, because Robert literally understood that he had to rise above the rest, and so did I, and literally in ways literally that you couldn't even fucking imagine. That literally the reason why Auntie Lisa will be saying this video is because Stone fucked up beyond belief. He had chance after chance after chance to make it up for God, but he fucked it up over and over again, expecting people to feel sorry for him and change his diaper. And literally, it came down to a time when me destroying him to George was enough for me, but it wasn't enough in real life. The only reason why I can get over an angle like that is because I have Mamacita, I have Poker, I have so many baby mamas, I have so much other shit going on, literally to the point where I can't even consider him a fucking spectator anymore, and that's the whole reason why it's tragic. But I have to deal with it, because if I don't, I forget about the meaning of those jokes, I forget about the quality of those, I forget about literally how extreme those jokes were, and how literally they were so above mainstream, and if we keep on belittling things like that, they will never really evolve, because literally if we don't stop and appreciate that and just move on, we're just being a little spoiled kid that didn't go to school, really. And that's really the truth, and it is the whole purpose of homework. But my IQ does not want to touch that subject at the moment, and what I'm trying to tell you is this: Robert, literally, I knew it was time. So if you haven't been keeping up with this series, I have a Michael Jackson persona. Armando wasn't the name of the person I've actually, beat where it came to a battle of the death. That person hit me in the car, and he was a part of the gang that Arturo and me used to hang out with. Lily, Arturo, aka Robert, Lily, I used to hang out with that gang that Armand bangs. And Lily, so what happened was this: so Armand was one of the top tiers of that gang, and they worked with minor or matter, but I was a grown-ass man. So long story short, I dealt with life where he ran away from it, and it was time for him to go. So Armando is actually the name of my plumber in real life. I said Armando Incognito because at the time I actually ended up killing that person on accident, because he hit me with a car, and since I was a grown man, I got back up and I bent over 230 pounds. So literally, it wasn't really too much. So what I did was I sprang randomly when I was blind, and literally I used reverse psychology, because literally I knew they were gonna block too, so I started swinging multiple. But because he was hesitant and because he didn't know what to do, I hit him with the element of surprise. I hit him and both his partners the same way, but it was on top of a whole bunch of ways, because I knew how to fight, and they were contemplating, what am I gonna do next? Is he gonna move to the side like he normally does? Literally, I took advantage of that. When they hit me with car, literally, I did boom, 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 and then went side. While they were thinking, I was moving, and literally, I knocked them fuck out, and I was stronger than them. Oh yeah, it was over. It, like literally, it was crazy as fucking. That was a part, and that was literally when I truly fucking learned that I was a grown ass man, literally, and literally, the Michael Jackson persona. I wanted people to like literally think that it was imaginary in real life, because in real life, when the Axel gang stalked me, they know that Armando is my plumber, and they were wondering why does he call him Armando? Because he has a real name. I think his real name was Lad and stuff like that, like Vladimir. I didn't even know that that was a real name, but I think his name was Lad. So Vladimir literally freaking came at me, but he got one shot at as soon as I threw one fist. So literally, that was the plan. I came up with backup plan on top of backup plan on top of backup plan within that instant, literally, because he hit me with a car. I knew one hit was literally. So what happens on him with a whole bunch of hits at once where he's not expecting. So one hit's enough to kill him. So what if I do it enough to put the ice in the cake? And I did the same with the other two. So like it was crazy as fuck. So literally, that's literally about literally fucking crazy as fuck. So literally, so when I spit the Armando video, and people know that it's real in real life, sometimes I do the mask just to make myself feel better, because I do dominate today. And I chose a Michael Jackson persona specifically to literally make my channel look a little bit more entertaining. Literally, it's crazy as fuck to leave. So we all grew up on that moral of that boys town, that foster care town. Really appreciating shit like that. Literally, so literally, when you see the ghost of Michael Jackson, when you literally think about that, literally, imagine literally back in the old days, in 1970s, because me and Robert went all the way old school. Then where you all grew up in this technology shit, me and Robert literally, we're down, and we're the only people who are actually Earth dwellers, literally, that grew up in our generation. Like, literally, we were the only ones who took advantage of a group home situation, meaning we were the only ones who was resourceful. And what I mean by that, we're the only ones who took advantage of the fact that we're human. While everybody else was using reverse psychology, we were making shit. Like Robert was playing with Legos, and it already evolved into the one time where he made a pipe made out of tape. What he did was he took one layer of tape, literally, and then he put another layer of tape, literally, that was clear tape, Scotch tape, and then clear tape. But then he folded, because you know how Scotch tape can be hard. Literally, he multi-layered the fucking Scotch tape, and then literally he bit it in half to make it a pipe. But then he took a piece of a sewing machine and used it as, you know, the bowl and stuff like that. Literally. So get that, literally, fucking people are playing off of shit. He's actually making shit from scratch, and that comes from having a human mind and understanding how things work and stuff like that. Because I do the same shit right now where he just did all the time. I actually made a living out of it because I use my mind influence and Lily. So here's how it comes down. Robert had multiple opportunities, and he hit Lily the fork in the road, and he literally got off the road. And guess what happened? He was on the freeway, and I saved him. He was living a really hectic lifestyle. He was moving from group home to group home, pretending to be somebody who was not. Where Eros was being made fun of in society, but Eros made his way because he didn't care, because he figured out that they were full of shit. Lily, he tried to come at me the same way at the Arrow. You may get pussy nowadays, but think about your standing against society and stuff like that. And literally, it backfired on Robert too, because his standing against society could be hidden. I'm like, dude, you can do this, and that, way more illegal stuff for me, and they can literally feel sorry for you from time to time, but you know better, this and that, and all that. But guess where it all came down to? The difference between him and Livingstone is Robert said he had to stop. This had to stop. And that is when Auntie Lisa comes in, because I thoroughly verified Livingstone each and every day for the past 3 months, with the shit that I was saying. But now it was Robert's turn. So now, Auntie Lisa. It came down to a time where it came down for homework time again, where we had to review The Promised Neverland. And we were on The Promised Neverland, episode 2. And here's while Auntie Lisa comes in. Oh no. Well, all the build up from me and Armand, me and my Michael Jackson complex, all this old school, everybody loves Raymond, the Adams family, all everything that has to do with their grave had to do with this moment where me, Robert, and Livingstone, because Robert, Lily, and me grew up. We have a full timeline. We are both full-grown adults, and this is me and him trying to do business, and we are looking at this nigga, and we knew that Livingstone was gonna try to stalk us to ruin the show. So as soon as we knew that Stone was around, he knew to keep his mouth shut, because he had no ammo to roast. He had to observe and keep his mouth shut. And we all knew he was there, but we pretended that he wasn't there because we know he's a little kid. So what we did is, we knew it was the right time. And because we know how flow works, what's about to happen next is Robert is going to roast him. You see, Livingstone already knows that American cartoons roast him by default, because they always come with lessons, they always come with morals, and they always come with innuendos, because that's what you call writing and stuff like that. Like, literally, because he always had the view that the guy who made the cartoon wasn't an adult, so he always views it as a little kid, so he doesn't even know that there are dirty jokes in cartoons. Well, there's a dirty joke in each and every cartoon. Tom and Jerry, full of crazy jokes. Lily and Tom and Jerry are comparable to the Three Stooges. That's old school comedy. That's relatable comedy that you can't really make up on the top of your dome, that you get from experience. Like Lily stumping your foot, Lily, against Lily a chair and shit like that because you accidentally ran into it. That's funny fucking shit. Like Lily, the improvisational memes and shit will never top the shit of the older generation. And this is when we're about to load the episode. And we all sense Livingstone, but we all knew it was cool, but we all knew it was time. I'm like, now it's time for Auntie Lisa when we're loading that episode. Oh no, Robert is gonna. In my head I'm like, Norman, please don't. All I thought about was the time I killed Armand and how real life is and how we're all grown adults now. We are all Auntie Lisa's and Uncle David's now. We are far from children. Auntie Lisa, Stone, what you're about to witness is two grown-ass men when they get into a fight. You know how you take one category and you play off it and you really don't try to make shit up on your own? They think the exact opposite. These are two humans who take advantage of the fact that they're human. You know how your gang relies on one thing? They think the exact opposite, Stone. Robert knew that Erica got every girl in high school, but he hit with the perspective, I only need to go with one girl who's slightly hot, who's really hot when you get older, but has a good rack. And Lily has straight orange hair. Lily, long nose don't be shit, freckles and everything, Stone. Where Robert comes at him as real strategy. He made sure his scrawny ass did everything in his fucking power, unlike you. I'm faster than you, that means I can beat you in the fight. Face it, Eris, Lily, it's either you go all out in the hood or you go all out being a nerd. You got chubby since freshman year. You're not in freshman year anymore. You started wrestling and stuff like that. You gotta keep up with those muscles, man. Some of that all things he learned from the juvie school. And Lily, but the greatest thing about that was he understood he had to do something about that situation. He had to do something to keep me out of distance, and that's exactly what Robert did. And the thing about this is, this episode really defined Lily, what Stone was going through, who he was as a person, and why he will never, ever have a friend in real life. He may have a friend online, but he'll never have a friend in real life. So, basically what we do at Funimation is we educate you on how to be a cousin Chip. We show you what references are in cartoons like Illuminati conspiracy theories in order for you guys to recognize that it has mature content masked by, you know, a whole bunch of PG content, but in order for you to understand that this is made by an adult and this is also made to teach lessons. They put pieces of agriculture, like Lily, they make sure that they contribute to their community. Every cartoon doesn't just do things for no reason. We think that cartoons work on a racky principle. That's what the outside portrays. But the inside, Lily, the inner works and stuff like that, how the process is, the outer piece is racky, but the process is really quote unquote collect. They gotta think about each character design. They gotta make sure, Lily, nothing's off-putting. They gotta really do a whole lot. They gotta make sure this show maintains the same theme, and that takes a whole lot of writing. That takes more than one human mind. And nerds come up with this shit thinking that mangakais do everything themselves. No. Not even the creator of Dragon Ball Z kept with the same idea for errors. Stop. We have editors where it comes to real life. And Lily, a whole lot of people literally have this misconception of shit. So basically, when we break down the Easter eggs and Lily, what are they representing in real life? What happens is, since Promised Neverland is a custom anime, it's already referencing something that's personal in my dang life. So it's referencing me and Robert. So Lily, what's going on is it's already a chick by default, but it wasn't touched upon because it was presented to an audience that wasn't really hip at the time. So Lily, it comes down to this. Lily, the episode goes like this. And Auntie Lisa, Stone, you're about to see two characters. One's based off Robert and the other one's based off Eris. And you know how people try to look better than each other in school? One person try to look better than the other, Stone. Robert's gonna be doing that, and him and Eris are gonna be competing, and he's gonna fuck you up this entire episode. Everybody knew what was happening. Lily, the footsteps of the ghost. Lily, haunting Lily, all of us knowing that what's happening to him is very crucial. And each time, and Lily, you know when you're a grown man, I'm like, okay, well, Lily, freaking, I just have to take this. It's not anything I haven't seen, but because I'm a grown man that knows writing, it was literally the most torturous thing I ever saw. Lily, I'm looking at it, and me and everybody else are looking at every single Easter egg, and every single Easter egg is hitting Stone. Lily, every single thing is Lily. Everything that's referencing is Lily what he's lacking in life. Lily, how Norman is talking to Emma 24/7. Lily, how Ray's keeping calm, cool, collect, just fucking hands in his pocket shit, rocking and shit like a slick daddy. Lily, Fucking Ray's over here rocking like a slick daddy shit, and Norman's talking to your girl, like Lily this and that, Lily fucking crazy as fuck Lily, and he already knew what to do for us, and he's like, Rodstone, you think Eris is gonna come back just because he's talking to your girl, because you don't know you're a kid, that's what you're focused on. Watch, Eris is gonna come back in one line in the fucking episode. And exactly that fucking happened. Literally fucking Norman is talking to fucking Emma the majority of the episode. So you can take that Norman's the pimp, Norman's the girlfriend, and all of a sudden in the middle of the episode, all you see is Ray, calm, cold, collect. Look at their window shield, like what are these niggas doing? Lily this and that, and Lily fucking Lily, and then Lily fucking, then they tell Ray about that shit, and Ray goes off with fucking more and shit like that. Lily fucking everything that we're fucking saying is intricate, everything we're saying is selective, everything is literally what a game member pretends to be. Lily. They are who the game member pretends to be, Stone. Because the matter or matter shit, they truly use that shit. Game members pretend to use that shit, Stone. The episode's getting cold and colder and colder and colder. And Lily, I'm like, no, Norman, stop it. Robert, no, he's had enough. This is his best friend, Stone. I thought the Easter egg was gonna stop because Lily, I'm like, dude. But Lily, they kept on coming and like Lily, but they came so fucking subtle. And even though we're enjoying our time, Lily, we know how it was affecting him. So Lily, it was really tragic. And then it became worse and worse and worse. Like Lily, as the time by, like Lily, it was insane because Lily, this is Lily crazy as fuck because Lily, he knows nothing about complexity nor anything about relationships. So when he sees something top tier like this, it really horrified him, but it horrified me at heart because it had me thinking that Robert is gonna hold back. Oh shit, Robert didn't hold back, fucking the show didn't hold back, literally the Easter eggs didn't hold back. I'm like, oh shit, and you know what that means? The universe doesn't hold back. If you don't know how universe works, the universe in the form of rotation, so what goes around comes around. So if you're still at the low end of the totem pole, you gotta get stronger, but you're still gonna be at the same position. You have to do shit in order to get in a higher position in life in general, but it's crazy. You're at the lower end of the totem pole, buddy. It really was insane. And Lily, the whole time I'm thinking about Lily, all the Lily shit that was going on. Lily, I'm thinking about Shannon, I'm thinking about everybody, fucking the audience. But the overwhelming cloud is fucking what Stone went through. And the worst part about it is throughout the episode, what really the reason why Arturo did this, what if I told you Arturo, aka Robert, what if I told you that Robert was even more of a dumbass than Stone at times? Robert may have not had holes in his head, but he had shit that was way worse than holes in his head, where he saw a reputation. He saw himself at disadvantage. He literally, because he was street smart, he didn't take a risk. What happened was he ended up putting himself in positions where other gangsters couldn't. And he gained power because he had strategy like me, but at the same time, he has to admit that Lily, he has to grow up, and Lily at times, and Lily, him pretending to be gangster was only benefiting him in certain areas of life. Like, you think Stone passing up the offer to be in nonsense retarded? Just think about all the times when I used to go to the mental hospital and my family could even bail me out, and Arturo's girl bailed him out of jail. Robert's girlfriend, Ariana Vargas, bailed him out of jail. And Lily, I'm sitting over here thinking about this and that with Lily. Man, it fucking sucks, this and that, Lily. Look at that, Lily. And then it goes in her head. See, that's the benefit of taking it slow. This is all that fucking bullshit. And it came from the origin of him punching down, and the devil, Lily, thought he could do that shit. Oh my fucking god. And Lily, over and over and over again, that was really tragic, because think of how spoiled he was. There was a time where he was really poor. Imagine how cool everybody is. Everybody loves Eris. Imagine somebody as likable as Eris, but twice as selfish as Eris. That's twice as selfish as Eris. And anyway, who abuses his charisma way more than Eris when Eris is just begging for a friend in general. Somebody who had multiple opportunities, because Ariana paid for his tree, Ariana pays for his food on dates, he drove him places and shit like that. He still stayed standing, he still really talked to her abusive, he still didn't want to listen to her rock, he always played his rap when she was around. He was basically abusing her, Lily, and taking advantage of that fact that he was irreplaceable, and it was horrifying. Lily, he did the same with a girl named Christina that I gave him. He was fucking up. I gave Robert a house one time when I was begging for one myself, because I know how girls work. I gave Robert clout when I made the R2 series, and he met up with Christina in Vegas, and Christina Lily gave her a house and home, and Lily, he took advantage of the fact that she was younger than him. He started talking to her like a sleazeball and shit, and Lily, he got rain over his head, so that you think Stone's retarded? Robert has actually had platform on top of platform. All he had to do was relax, and he decided to go right back to the hood nigga mentality instantly as soon as he had like an opening just like Stone, because he can get with Christina on the spot, and Lily, he could hold hands down the street, but he knows why I can't. And stuff like that. He took advantage of that. I'm like, you are the biggest dumbass in the world. I gave you Christina for a reason, because it was affordable. And Lily, you didn't understand that. He Lily, you talk shit. He could have stayed in the house. He could have fucked her. He could have had pussy in the fucking house. Two things that I was begging for at the fucking time. He got with ease over and over and over again. Way worse than Stone. So it was time for Robert to step up to the plate and let you know I was way more dumb than you. I don't care how many hoes you have in your fucking hole. Figure it out. Robert had every right to speak his mind that episode. It really horrified Stone. Robert Lily was in the best position because he knows better than anyone that he fucked up more than anybody. But guess what happened to him, Stone? Lily, because he worked so hard to get to that base in Gerald, because he worked so hard to be my rival in Gerald, is why he was responsible enough for me to bring him around when it came down to recruit people. He was strong enough for me to recruit, do you get? He built himself strong enough for me to recruit, do you understand? Lily, that is the power of giving credit where credit is due. And it was insane, Lily. We were barring throughout the entire episode, doing hella hood nigga shit that you don't know, like Lily, unless you actually been to a hood, like Lily, they were doing hella smart aleck gestures, like hella facial expressions, like Lily, Lily, look into the fucking ceiling and shit like that. Look at that Mama Isabella and shit, like Lily. Mama Isabella looking fine as fucking Ray is looking at her. All throughout, shit like that, all throughout the fucking episode shit. And at the end, we see the black lady at the end, Lily, because Robert's obsessed with rap, and it was really fucking insane. All fucking conspiracies, fucking theories, everything fucking came into one fucking piece, and then Stone knew right there and there, Lily, it's not about anime being hip-hop, it's the fact that I'm being gay, and that was the truth. This is the night at Funimation. Me, Robert, and Livingstone.